Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. Adnan.
It's always a delight to listen to you, sir. Prime Minister Chrétien took a decision not to participate in the Iraq War in 2003. Prime Minister Trudeau decided to disengage from our airstrikes in Iraq. Of course, these two decisions have not been taken very kindly by some of our allies. Although as an observer of Middle East, I see that these two incidents have saved us, Canada, from incidents like 7/7, Madrid bombing, Charlie Hebdo. So how do you see these two decisions in the light of security, internal security for Canada? And allow me to ask, using a British expression, Afghanistan has been your baby for quite some time. It's still unstable. So do you see any future of Afghanistan, as well as what is the future of Islamic extremism and related to Canadian security? Thank you.
Wow. Adnan, that's a lot. Okay, I disagree with your premise on certainly the decision on withdrawing the jets from the last as we changed op impact. I don't know which allies you're talking to, but I talk to the people who run their armies, and they're very delighted with what we're doing. No issue with that decision whatsoever. And in fact, I won't say who it was, but I'll quote him. Canadian human capital is far more important in this particular phase of the operation than 6 additional fighter aircraft. Right? So we doubled down on people. Fighters are important, don't get me wrong, but in this particular phase, as we were shaping up to an effective confrontation with Daesh in Mosul, what we did on the ground was vital. Okay? So I take exception, not exception, but I disagree with your premise. The other part of your premise, though, is you're making kind of an automatic link between what you do overseas and the peril that you face at home. And I don't believe that that's proven for a minute. And I don't think that the connections, although they might be convenient to make and they might sound somewhat sensational, I don't think they're actually real. The stated desire of the Islamic State and many other of the sort of international terror organizations is not retribution for Western operations. They don't like us to begin with. It is convenient for them, and perhaps you've been affected a little bit by their propaganda, to say, hey, you're here, so we're going to fight you back home. They are experts at this. As far as I'm concerned, the fact that Canada has used military force to be a part of something to try and prevent global catastrophe, because even if we didn't deploy, it would still come home to roost in some form. No nation is an island. So I think we just need to moderate that, in my view, and recognize that clear and present dangers are clear and present dangers, and they can come home to roost here just as well as anywhere else. And if it's not actually happening on Canadian soil, the fact that our European allies are harmed, the fact that trade and commerce and global sanity can be harmed as a result of their actions, well, that affects us too. Okay? Canadians were killed in Burkina Faso. So just because it doesn't happen here, it can happen there, right? As far as Afghanistan goes, Canada continues to contribute financially to the Afghan campaign. There is no doubt about it that Afghanistan, in my view, is better off now than it would have been had we not done what we did as Canadians and as the alliance continues to do. But as was stated by Commander of Resolute Support, that conflict too is at an inflection point. The government needs to continue to govern and govern better. It all comes down to people's satisfaction and ability to work and live in their country to a level of that they're satisfied with. And if they're not, then insurgency and coercion by insurgents will prevail. And so Afghanistan, I believe, is still very much a work in progress, still very much needs the support of Western forces and the great command by a great General McNicholson to make certain that Afghanistan does recover. It's a long-term issue. We've been saying that for a long time. It's long-term, and long-term is long-term. It needs continued investment. Failure to do so, we saw what happened before when it was completely ungoverned space. It wasn't good. Thank you.